Good afternoon, everyone. So, today we are going to revise chapter number 17, that is breathing and exchange of gases. First of all, what do you mean by the term breathing? Breathing is a process in which we take oxygen and we give out CO2. Basically, breathing involves two phenomena, inhalation and exhalation. Inhalation means the process of taking oxygen rich air, and exhalation means the process of giving out CO2 rich air. So, breathing involves intake of oxygen rich air and exhaling out the air which is rich in carbon dioxide. Am I clear? Now, basically, why do we respire? You have read about the respiration, you have read about the reaction of respiration, right? Basically, food is there, that is glucose. It reacts with the oxygen and it results in the formation of CO2, water, and energy. So basically, we respire in order to get this energy from the food. And in this process, the CO2 is produced. That is a kind of toxic product, a waste product for our body. So this CO2 is exhaled. That is exhalation, I told you. So in breathing, we take oxygen inside the body, that is inhalation, and we exhale the CO2. Clear? Now, what is the difference between breathing and respiration? Now, breathing, I told you, breathing is exchange of gases, intake of oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide. That's it. But what is respiration? Respiration is a complex process. Breathing is a part of respiration. In respiration, we take air which is rich in oxygen. That air is supplied to the cells of the body. In the cells of the body, glucose is present. In the cells, this glucose will react with the oxygen. There will be catabolic reaction. This results in the liberation of CO2, water, and energy. Then this CO2 is exhaled out from the body. The whole process comes under the category of respiration. Respiration involves the following processes. First is breathing. I told you breathing is a part of respiration. Exchange of gases, intake of air rich in oxygen and give out oxygen which is rich in carbon dioxide. This is also known as pulmonary ventilation. Clear? Then second process of respiration is diffusion of gases in the lungs, in the alveolar surface. Diffusion of gases at the alveolar surface. Clear? Firstly, oxygen is taken in. Then secondly, this oxygen, obviously it is in the lungs, it is in the alveoli of the lungs. Then there is diffusion of that oxygen. From the alveoli of the lungs, that oxygen goes to the blood. And then from the blood, the CO2 will go to the alveoli of the lungs so that it can be exhaled out. So second process is diffusion. Third process is transportation of that CO2 via blood, or I can say transportation of gases via blood. Fourth process is again diffusion but at the tissue level. Okay, now in the fourth step there will be diffusion of the gases between the blood and the tissue. And in the fifth step, that oxygen will be used up in order to break down the glucose for the liberation of CO2, water, and energy. So, respiration is a complex process. Breathing is a part of respiration. Breathing is mere exchange of gases. Am I clear? What is breathing? What is the difference between respiration and breathing? Now, if I talk about the respiration, the mechanism of respiration in different organisms, then the mechanism of respiration differs in different organisms. It depends on the type of the habitat in which they live, type of the organ that is present, basically level of organization. Like if I'll talk about the simple organisms like sponges, coelentrates, flatworms, If I'll talk about them, they breathe through their general body surface. Through their entire body surface, the diffusion will take place. There will be exchange of gases through their body surface only. Clear? Now, if I'll talk about a little higher organisms, like if I'll talk about insects, then they are having tracheal system for the exchange of gases. Okay. If I'll talk about earthworm, then you know that earthworm, they are having moist cuticle. They exchange gases with the help of that cuticle. If I'll talk about aquatic arthropods, aquatic arthropods, aquatic mollusk, they respire with the help of gills. Gills are specialized structure that help in the process of respiration in the organisms that used to live in the water. If I'll talk about the vertebrates, then among vertebrates, as you are aware, fishes, they breathe with the help of the gills. Okay, higher organisms like reptiles, birds, mammals, we respire with the help of lungs. Lungs are special vascularized bag-like structure. Vascularized means they are having supply of blood. Clear? If I talk about amphibians, then amphibians use a variety of mode. They can breathe through lungs also, through buccopharyngeal cavity also. They are having moist skin. With the help of that skin also they can exchange the gases. So basically now we have to study about the human respiratory system. So let us talk about the human respiratory system. So now if I talk about the various parts, the various components of the human respiratory system. Okay, so basically human respiratory system starts from the external nostrils. You can just see that above the upper lips, two nostrils are present. Okay, those nostrils, they lead into a cavity, that is nasal cavity. There is a passage, small passage. Through that nasal passage, the nostrils open up into the nasal cavity. Clear? Let me make it. Suppose there is a human being. Okay, there are nostrils that leads into the nasal cavity, and later on that nasal cavity opens into the nasopharynx. Nasopharynx is basically a part of pharynx. Pharynx, you know that it is a common passage for the air as well as for the food. Clear? Now the nasopharynx, it will open into the trachea via larynx. There is larynx here. Okay, and on the larynx here, there is present an opening, a hole. That opening is known as glottis, and that opening is covered by a flap like structure, a cartilaginous flap like structure, which is known as epiglottis. Am I clear? This is larynx. Nasopharynx opens into the larynx. Okay, and there is an opening. That opening is glottis, and this opening is guarded by a cartilaginous flap like structure, and that cartilaginous flap like structure is known as epiglottis. Clear? This epiglottis, it can open, it can close. Like you can imagine it with the cap of a bottle. It can open, it can close. If it will be opened, then air can go inside. If it will be closed, then air will not go inside. Okay, actually when we swallow the food, this epiglottis, it get closed so that the food may not enter into your respiratory tract. Now there is trachea. Clear? Now actually what happens in the mid of the thoracic cavity, you are very well aware of the fact that your lungs are present in the thoracic cavity, right? And even your thoracic cavity is designed in such a way that its volume can increase or decrease. The volume of the thoracic cavity, it can increase or decrease, and as a result the volume, or I can say the pulmonary volume, it can increase or decrease. And this setup is quite useful in the mechanism of breathing that we will discuss later on. Now there is trachea. by the mid of the thoracic cavity at the level of the fifth thoracic vertebra. Okay, the trachea, it divides into bronchi, primary bronchi, basically right and left primary bronchi. Okay, there you know that two lungs are present in our body. Lungs are present in the chest cavity, right? Okay, if I talk about the protection of the lungs, then obviously lungs are very delicate organ. They must be protected. So lungs are well protected by the rib cage that is formed by the ribs, right? Now, lungs, they are having a protective covering also, that is known as pleura. The outer protective covering of the lungs is known as pleura. Basically, two membranes are present in the pleura, outer membrane and inner membrane. Clear? Outer membrane, as you can see, it is in close contact with the thoracic cavity, and inner membrane, it is in close contact with the lung surface. And in between these two pleura, outer pleura and inner pleura, there is present pleural fluid. This fluid basically reduces the friction on the lung surface. Now, inside the lungs, if I'll talk about, you know that at the level of the fifth thoracic vertebra, the trachea has been divided into left and right primary bronchi. Now, what will happen? The primary bronchi, it will divide into secondary bronchi. The secondary bronchi will later on divide into tertiary bronchi. The tertiary bronchi, it will terminate in bronchioles. Okay, and finally at the end of the bronchioles, there are present balloon-like structure. And these balloon-like structure, they are thin-walled and these are known as alveoli. Clear? Now, at the base of the thoracic cavity, there is present a muscular structure and that muscular structure is known as diaphragm. Am I clear? Basically, so your respiratory system is having two parts, conducting part and exchange part. Conducting part, the part which helps in the transportation of gases, basically from the nostrils till the bronchioles. Conducting part is there. This part is helpful in the transportation of gases. Clear? Exchange part is the part where actual the process of diffusion takes place. Here in the alveoli and the alveolar duct, actually the exchange of gases takes place between the alveoli and the blood. So the alveolar duct and alveoli, these form the exchange part. Duct of alveoli and alveoli itself. These are the part of the exchange part, while the rest part from the nostril till the bronchiole, it is conducting part of the human respiratory system. Clear? Now one more thing, trachea, primary bronchi, secondary bronchi, tertiary bronchi and the initial bronchioles. These are supported by incomplete cartilaginous rings. Okay, it prevents its collapsing basically. Now, this is about the human respiratory system. Now let us understand the mechanism of breathing. How the process of breathing takes place. I have told you breathing means taking in air which is rich in oxygen and giving out air which is rich in carbon dioxide. Then how can we take in air and how can we give out carbon dioxide? So let us talk about the mechanism of breathing. So now our next topic is mechanism of breathing. Basically in our body we are having ribs. Okay, diaphragm is there. Right now I told you about them. And intercostal muscles. With the help of the movement of the diaphragm, intercostal muscles, we breathe. If you'll place your hand on your chest, you can feel there is a movement. Okay, due to that movement only we are able to breathe. Now let us talk about how we inhale the gas and how we exhale CO2 rich air. Now, actually, if we want to take the air inside our body, if we want to do the process of inhalation, then there is a condition that the pressure in the lungs, it should be lesser than the atmospheric pressure. Am I clear? Atmospheric pressure should be higher and the pressure inside the lungs should be lower, so that O2 rich air can go inside. You know that air moves from the high pressure to low pressure. Okay, so for the process of inhalation, the pressure which is present inside the lungs, intrapulmonary pressure, it should be less. Pressure which is present inside the lungs, it should be less as compared to the atmospheric pressure. Now, how is this achieved? Let us talk about what happens basically. During the time of inhalation, the diaphragm contracts. When the diaphragm contracts, it goes downward. And when it goes downward, it results in the increase of the thoracic cavity. As a result, pulmonary volume increases. Am I clear? So first thing, there is contraction of the diaphragm. Second thing, what will happen? External intercostal muscle. External intercostal muscle will contract. Now what will happen due to the contraction of external intercostal muscle? The ribs and the sternum, it will come outward. Again, as a result, the thoracic volume will increase. So by the contraction of the diaphragm, by the contraction of the external intercostal muscle, the thoracic volume increases. And you know that if the thoracic volume increases, then pressure decreases. And if the pressure inside the lungs decreases, the O2 rich air will come inside. Okay, so what happens during inhalation? Am I clear? There will be contraction of the diaphragm and there will be contraction of the external intercostal muscle. Now, if I talk about the process of exhalation, that is the process of giving out air which is rich in carbon dioxide. So exactly the opposite thing is going to happen. Exhalation will take place when the pressure inside the lungs is more and the pressure outside the lungs is low. So it means in exhalation, the intrapulmonary pressure, it should be more than the atmospheric pressure. Then how is this achieved? Simple. The diaphragm will relax. It will come back to its former position. External intercostal muscles, they will relax. Okay. The diaphragm will come to its original position. Intercostal muscles, they will come to their initial position, and as a result, the pressure inside the lungs, it decreases. And as a result, the volume of the lungs decreases. And if the volume of the lungs decreases, the pressure inside the lungs increases. And as a result, the air which is having CO2, it is forced out. Am I clear with the process of breathing? Thank you.